Hi guys, so I've got an update on the grinder situation. As you may remember me telling you a good while ago, I had a bunch of belts that I came by for free, and the adhesive thing that kept the two ends together was screwed up on them, so I used Gorilla Tape to keep them together, and I tested them out on this grinder, but the Gorilla Tape just wasn't holding up. It was stretching too much, and it was tracking all over the place, and it just wasn't any good, so I ordered some actual belts from a supplier of belts and various other knife making materials. And I've hooked it up to the grinder, which you can see here. Right now I've got an unfinished flat platen attachment on it. This is one of the bearings and wheels. Another one's supposed to go down here, but the one that I had, or have, the bearing wasn't fitted properly into the housing, and it would just move all over the place, and naturally that's no good. But I can still take the wheel out of it and put it onto a new bearing if I need to, which I'll do eventually, but for now this will have to do. And this is a 60 grit belt. It's a 2" by 72" belt. It's what a lot of knife makers and sword makers use. But I guess I'll show you it running. And I also got the tensioner assembly finished up. I'll show you that actually. Basically, this is 2 pieces of 1/2" steel, and that moves up and down on a spring. It's spring loaded, and right here is the wheel that moves up and down like that, and this thing controls how I can screw this in and out to control how far up or down it goes to move the belt side to side to tension it properly, and the spring just keeps it constant. But I'll show you it in operation. It's a similar design to the KMG belt grinder from Beaumont Metalworks, which I would love to be able to buy at some point, but it's very expensive, and I just can't afford it right now. So I'm going to put on my trusty safety glasses and get this thing hooked up. There we go. Motor's hooked up. And I just need to get this tensioned and screw that down to keep this in place. Now it's not going anywhere. Just around with it a little bit. Okay, it seems to be okay. And now I'll turn it on. And I've got a piece of bloodwood here that I got from Nerfomania for a project that I'm going to be working on, and it's one of the hardest woods in the world. I think it's one of the top 5. Red oak. It's more than twice as hard as red oak, which is a fairly hard wood. It's what this base is made of. I've got a piece of bloodwood and a piece of steel that I'll be testing it out on. Now, how about I actually hook up the electrical leads to the motor so that it'll actually work. Alright, and it's loud.
Bloodwood first!
And it just chews right through this stuff. I mean, it has no problem. This is a 60 grit belt. Now I'll try out the steel. Okay. this thing. It works very well. It could work better. The tracking isn't perfect. It moves around a little bit, but it could definitely be a lot worse. Here's what I just did. It had another point on it at first, but I ground that off and ground another little step into it. I got a good area of slack belt here that I can use for any number of things. And I've got the contact wheel here, and hopefully soon I'll be able to order another bearing that'll go down here, and I'll be able to put another wheel there and a flat plate behind, so that I'll be able to do flat work. And yeah, that bearing it's getting hot. So I think I'll probably try not to run this thing for too very long at a time, but it works pretty darn well. I'm very happy with it. I could be happier, but it could definitely be working a lot worse than it is. So I'll release the tension on that belt. There we go. Alrighty, so until next time, have a great day.